Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first part of my podcast. And if you're viewing it on Insta, it's a face reveal video. Joining me on my first venture in this podcasting world is my dad, Vikas Mishra, and today we're going to be discussing and breaking down the social dilemma, an eye opening documentary on how artificial intelligence and its applications are actually taking over our lives. With this podcast, I'll be introducing novices to this aspect without getting too technical. So, Mr. Vikas Mishra, can you give your introduction, please?
Thank you, Arvind, for letting me have this opportunity to have interaction with you on different technical aspects. But rather, I would want to keep it more generic. The reason being the topic initially may sound to be more technical, but there are many generic aspects of this topic. The topic, the documentary, probably we will be discussing about it, the social dilemma, which has thrown a lot of debates all across the country. It's not merely a documentary, it has led to a lot of soul searching amongst all those viewers all over the world, whosoever has watched. I got a lot of mails from some of my friends who remain hooked to Netflix. Usually, they spend a lot of their time watching movies or series on Netflix. But this time, I got some disturbing emails from some of my friends saying that if you can dissect this social dilemma, and you can give me the message, because message is very loud and clear, and they felt intimidated, rather scared. Therefore, and I thought that why shouldn't I discuss it with my son Arvind Mishra, who is a technocrat studying in one of the reputed institutions. So I'm looking forward to have a discussion on this artificial intelligence, social dilemma, merits, demerits, and thank you for having me with you on this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And let's kick off this entire thing. So let's go way back. Like, let's ask the viewer what is artificial intelligence? Merriam Webster states this as a capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. When you say artificial intelligence, a normal person would see Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator or some other flicks like AI Artificial Intelligence or the Joaquin Phoenix starrer Her, which was really ambitious. In those films, you'll see these drones and automated machines like AI. Like it would ruin the world, it will gain sentience, it would eventually become a deviant. Your own android servant would eventually turn out and your murderer and will kill you. So it's a cog in the machine. So according to the portrayal of AI in those movies, what are your views?
The first time I heard about artificial intelligence way back in 1990s, the term basically intrigued me a lot. I mean, we often hear about consciousness and intelligence, but this is the first time it made me think like that. How can intelligence be artificial? So way back in 1990s, when I was preparing for a competitive examination, that after that I started watching reading some articles on that in foreign magazines. I watched some movies on that. Probably you have cited the best example of Terminator. Probably Terminator could be called a kind of a front runner in introducing the term called artificial intelligence to lots and lots of people. This is the first time they heard about it, that a machine.
It's my favorite series actually. Although
Uh,
the latest installments have been a little bit of a disappointment, but still, it's the second part was my favorite film.
Yeah, it also happens to be one of my most favorite movies. It set a discussion everywhere that will a day come that when machine will acquire the same degree of intelligence what a normal human being have. How this machine is going to replace the intelligence of a human being, because all of us are gifted and endowed and born with abilities called cognitive abilities. But if the same degree of abilities can be artificially created in a laboratory, and then we can let loose those artificial intelligent creatures onto the society, basically, I'm 3 decades after, I can see that circumstances, the way the artificial intelligence has started dominating a lot of our space. Our basically human space is now being invaded by artificial intelligence. I would not get into that about the merits and demerits of that, but the way the things are spreading, I heard a lot of TED talks on artificial intelligence, and I have also had a number of fruitful discussion with you on artificial intelligence. I remember years back when you were in class ninth,
Typically.
you narrated me something of artificial intelligence that further fueled my desire to know more about it. So what I meant to say, that intelligence that is artificially created, I mean, is human intelligence going to wield or exercise the same degree of control on this artificial intelligence, or is it going to run unfettered at the cost of the entire humanity? Probably that has also been one of the features of artificial intelligence. This AI could be used in many positive ways. We are drawing a lot of benefits out of applications of artificial intelligence. So this is something, you are a specialist, I'm a generic person. So tidbits and bits I have collected from here and there. I keep reading about it. So now we can further go
Yeah,
for.
good for you. But this podcast is only for the generic viewer. Actually, I remember when I said that, I actually shouted at that speech when my younger brother was in that Indian Idol audition thingy. And I remember I was saying this huge speech about MacBook and jailbreaking. So
Yes, yes.
yeah, I remember that. I was actually getting introduced to the Terminator franchisee.
This way, see what happens. The way you are growing, you are learning a lot of new stuff about artificial intelligence and various other technical aspects. I to try to keep pace. Of course, I would not be able to keep pace with you, but generic information I try to have. Why don't we switch on to this documentary called Social Dilemma? That has been one of the most talked or discussed documentary of the recent times.
If you're a really big aficionado of technology, the social dilemma can actually be quite disillusioning. Okay, because you'll be stunned about how all these professionals who have been working in those big IT companies like Pinterest and Google, Facebook,
Facebook.
they have been quitting their jobs for ethical reasons. Bro, like what? Do you expect some ballet to be happening in your office? So, so I'd like to carry on the discussion. See, the social dilemma portrays people who like.
I would just one point I wanted to add here. After you watched Social Dilemma and the kind of facial expression that you had after having watched the movie,
I was shocked. Like I was disillusioned for the day.
probably it brought you out of the comfort zone because you may not have realized the gravity of the situation. And
Yeah.
as a father, I was worried. In fact, I remained worried for a couple of hours, couple of days. Was I right in recommending this documentary, Social Dilemma, to Arvind? Because he is an aspiring technocrat. He is learning. He's a learner. So I mean, I was actually I kind of started regretting that I should not have recommended you to watch that. Do you know that I have been recommending you to watch lots of stuff on Hollywood and documentary part?
Viewers,
Uh,
my father has a very deep interest. Like unlike other parents who have been like totally been engaged in Bollywood, my father has been always been an aficionado of Hollywood films. Like he has watched all the classics there are. So
thank you for that.
yes.
Basically,
And
I
also,
also.
I would to add to the fact that my father actually has been owning three MacBooks. Okay, he has a MacBook Air, he has a MacBook Pro, and he has that tiny MacBook which he has. I don't think you used it to how much degree you
Uh,
use the other.
because I don't want to go obsolete, I don't want to go outdated. I want to keep abreast with all the technological advancements because the way the things are progressing, that every second year the entire technology is getting replaced. So, in order to keep abreast of all the current developments in terms of technology, one must be open-minded. This has been my fundamental tenet of my life. This has been my fundamental postulate of life. As far as this social dilemma is documentary is concerned, I you must have noticed that it consists of serial of interviews uh, of those technocrats who had actually helped in creating this leviathan. Probably, there's one phrase that is becoming the buzzword nowadays, that this entire internet is turning out to be a Frankenstein monster. It's going to devour the entire humanity because we are equipping. We have also watched number of movies on AI, that the AI becomes so strong that AI, all the human beings are being outplayed and outmaneuvered by the machine. So we have got series
Skynet and
of movies.
Genesis, yes.
Even there are some duds in Bollywood, in Hindi cinema. Also, we have movies like Robots, where the same hero and villain story. The
Yeah.
villain is represented by artificially intelligence created creatures, and then the usual protagonist,
If
the
only
hero.
they could have come up with a much more engaging script for the second one, I would have actually been hyped for the second part of Robot 2.0. Rashmikan's
Second
script.
was basically a dud. I personally
Yeah.
did not enjoy watching it, though the concept was good. Uh, in totality, if we see that what might have been, in your opinion, what might have been the reasons behind those uh, specialists, those who gave a greater chunk of their life in building this Leviathan structure, and what went wrong that made them leave those great organizations in corporate worlds all over the world, Google, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram. So that consists of the interviews by all those experts, and most of them are citing the ethical and the regions based on morality. So again, we always have the. If we look at the history of our civilization, the civilization has always witnessed the debates between this humanist and the technologist. It has happened everywhere. So I'm not much worried about it, because whenever the society is witnessing any new paradigm or new change, there would be a group of people who are called Luddites, those who are not change oriented. They want to maintain the status quo. So I'm not getting into those details. But what has happened, we can see actually the deleterious and the banful impact of these overarching influence of social media, overarching influence of internet, overarching influence of all these platforms, and it has started creating a bad impact on our day-to-day life. Probably that's a matter of concern, which I think we need to focus on.
One part of the social dilemma had this disgruntled employee who had actually pointed out a flaw in the entire Google system. Okay, like it was trending for a day. Like I'm trying to explain how things trend and how they eventually go into oblivion. Okay, so he pointed out this major flaw. He presented it to his bosses, and it was a trending issue within the company. Like people were talking about it. It actually kind of got out of hand. Twitterati came a buzz, and the entire thing was about to like go on for it was supposed to look like like an issue which would go on for years, but the next day it just vanished. Like people didn't even remember, and everything went back to normal. That was one of the reasons the guy quit his job at Google. Like quitting his job at Google actually sounds like a pretty absurd idea.
Hmm.
See, what people just don't know. Okay, now going back to the flow of the conversation, we
Uh,
just discussed about the Terminator, right? And okay, I was like, would you like to add that something?
So I just would like to add that any development which takes place in the history of civilization, which takes place in the society, will have neither the only the positive outcomes nor the negative outcomes. It's basically an amalgamation of both the aspects. If you look at the positive side of artificial intelligence, it has added longevity to life of a lot of people. It is helping in terms of our health sector, in terms of our communication sectors, the way it has revolutionized the entire communication sector. But here, what has happened that there is always a limit. Always has to be a balance. One word, probably you are also very fond of using one word that is called equilibrium.
Hmm.
If the society has to exist, the equilibrium amongst all these new trends, amongst all these new paradigms, have to be maintained. But now probably we are reaching at a stage where the equilibrium of the society is now getting disturbed. Well, that's probably is a matter of concern for each one of us. Like if you walk out on into the street, you will find people neglecting the traffic rules. People are basically forsaking the one-to-one conversation. The live conversations are now becoming a rarity. Earlier, people used to meet at their dining table, discuss all their pains, pleasures, small details, nitty-gritties of life. Probably these are the small detailings which make life beautiful. But here, it has happened with everybody. Even I would say that I'm an exception. I would say that I'm an exception. You would find everywhere people are remain glued to the screen. I was reading a report somewhere in published in a news magazine that people are, on an average are spending 7 to 8 hours watching their mobile screen without any rhyme or reason. Also, they are looking for all the stuff. I'm not saying that there is only bad thing on internet. It's a good thing. Everything is there out on the internet. It all depends upon your discretion. You have to have a discussion, because we are given the natural intelligence. We are not given the artificial intelligence. But the way the artificial intelligence is overpowering our natural intelligence to choose between the right and the wrong, between the positive and the negative, that is basically a worrisome trend.
The social dilemma actually personified the internal algorithm of our phones. It showed three phases, like three parts of an AI. Okay, AI, machine learning, deep learning, which were all three of them are working together, like, and they are trying to crop up these new ideas to keep our eyes glued to the screens. Okay, so we just carried on from Terminator, and I like to say that the AI is already running this world.
Hmm.
It knows what you want to see and watch, and acts as a person who is just fine with your views. Okay, it would agree. You do a Google search, okay, like climate change is real, the earth is flat. Okay, the search results would vary from person to person. It would never be same for anyone.
Yes, yes.
People say AI, and it's like a metaphor. AI is a metaphor. Okay, they'll see a Master Chief program. Okay, like imagine you're in a film. Okay, and the AI is a big bad villain, and the AI would come off as this blend of codes and meshes, and like it would resemble a face with a moving mouth. He would give like kill this guy, kill that guy, and eventually he'll die. Okay, so this was actually featured in the 1982 film called Tron, which was actually the first installment in the Tron Legacy series. Remember, the person had gone into a different world.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
he had to search for his father. They had this light cycles and all that. It was
I remember you made me watch that movie, and I liked it immensely for two reasons. Because the film was well made, it had a nice script, but most importantly, more than the technical aspects, I liked because it talked about a bond between a father and a son.
yes.
So probably that's the most that's made that movie more
Its
likable
art
for.
imitates life.
Yeah, well said, very well said, well articulated. Here, the art is imitating life. That's well said.
Okay.
Arvind, see, we have already discussed about it, that deleterious or painful impact of artificial intelligence. I was recently watching a TED talk in which a doctor had been invited. He has devised some instrumentations by which a person does not need to go to see a doctor at the clinic. The person can buy the programming and keep answering the questions put up by the boards. These boards are also turning out to be an integral part of our life, isn't it? What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. These are big Titantrons which would eventually go on the buildings, like give the city a futuristic view. But we are like 25 years away from that, so it can wait.
Because see, the boards are everywhere. The
Yeah.
boards are. I was reading somewhere that if you are very active on Twitter, and one of your tweet is not liked by the Twitterati, then what will they do? So probably, I'm not aware about the exact technicalities, but after paying certain amount of money, that you can buy the Twitter accounts, the Twitter handles, and then they let loose those bots after you.
Yeah.
And you would feel, actually you'll be surrounded by those creatures having the artificial intelligence, and they'll pick up some words, and accordingly they would respond to your tweeters, and they would react it more violently because everything is programmed.
Okay.
So these are the things. As a technocrat, I would want to know from you that do you think that we have reached to the point of saturation where these things must start bothering us? Because see, it is also helping us out in many fields.
Eventually things pass. Okay, like this is how the community works right now. Unless there's a remedy or any other solution where people can just keep their views and people would agree with them, I don't think the times are going to change anytime soon. Okay, but you have to be pretty valiant to keep your points, okay, on Twitter. Okay, it's for everyone to show. People would come here and there, they'll just try to criticize you for your views and that, but the thing is that you have to stand by your point. That
Uh,
point is important.
Basically, I'm not against technology, nor am I against artificial intelligence. Basically, I'm a techno guy. I'm a pro technology.
Your
Uh,
Apple collection kind of shows that, it's
uh,
pretty evident.
but my point of concern is that we should not get engrossed in these artificial or machine things to such an extent that a point may come. I am not a naysayer. I'm not predicting some disequilibrium for our society or some doomsday kind of story, because I don't believe in any doomsday theory. Since my childhood, I've always disowned all these naysayers and the doomsday theorists.
Yeah,
You
Indian
know,
news media in a nutshell, father.
uh,
They are
uh,
like always projecting some kind of.
I know that I'm an eternal optimist. So, being an eternal optimist, I know that though there is a assumption and presumption that we are creating some monster, a big monster, but again, the human intelligence would always go higher, would always remain much ahead of an artificial intelligence. That is also one of my postulates or my belief, that see, we are adding layers upon layers, developments upon developments on artificially induced intelligence. But who is creating it actually? This is all coming from human intelligence. So the master is always the human intelligence. The master is creating a servant, but we are weaponizing the servant with so much weapons, with so much sophisticated things, endowing them the ability to replace human intelligence, human reasoning or cognitive abilities. But again, these are probably the changing times. That a time will come when again we'll find something when the artificial intelligence would actually be used only for the purpose humans want it to use, and not to get ahead and to become destructive in long run.
I'd like to assume that humans are having a kill switch for that. Okay, there's always an if-else condition behind everything, and if they go beyond that, they will just vanish the entire system, and we'll be back into the 1980s kind of stuff. It's just something that they say, because you must have noticed that the people behind Twitter and all of them, Facebook, Google, are getting into court with issues which are not regarding their own technology. They are having fake news. They are having Russian cyber attacks on their voting systems. What are your views on that?
I mean, the fake news is worrisome. This is certainly a disturbing trend. I say that, you know, that I read a lot of stuff on politics because I keep abreast of the political developments all over the world. This fake news is certainly becoming a very big menace for our society. It is creating a sort of divisiveness in the society, whether it is America or Asia or anywhere. I would like to quote certain examples, like the fake news spreads faster than the real news. By the time, because the influence of social media network is so fast, somewhere it is said that now the social media has acquired such a position that overnight it can create a revolution, it can create rebellion in any society, it can create riots, it can create violence. Only one thing has to be used, that the fake news, by the time the real agencies come up with the real news or with some cartoon arguments that the news that you have been reading is fake news, by the time they take some action, the damage is already done. And
Okay.
it's not episodic, it has been happening at regular intervals, including India. You know, so we are passing through a very tough corona period time, and how these fake news are being circulated. We have this proverbial the WhatsApp universities and the scholars from Twitter, scholars from Facebook, those who have been disseminating. Earlier, this media was used for dissemination of information. Now it is becoming a major tool for misinformation. The how the information is being peddled, how the vested interests are peddling news, scattering or protecting, perpetuating their own interest, how they are letting loose those fake news item through this social, using these social media platforms to reach out to those people, which can create devastating consequences. And it has happened.
Yeah.
Say, when the elections took place, in which Trump won. Now later it was revealed that Russian
Yes.
cyber people were behind it.
Yes.
Now even there was a committee constituted in the United States of America. Forget about let us. Why should we worry about America? We are. Let us come back to our own motherland, India.
Yeah.
Recently, what happened? The top executives of Facebook have been called by the Delhi Legislative Assembly. Now there is a demand that the Facebook will have to be accountable for the content people are posting using their platforms.
Yes.
So there has to be a filtering. Otherwise, if you remove the sense of accountability, then what will happen? That platform would be used by those people having malified intentions, and it will have certainly it now the disastrous consequences have started showing.
Yes.
And I have got many examples to quote where the damage has been done.
Yes. See, AI serves as a background to this. Okay. The basic principle of AI is that I want this result, I want this outcome, and you will give me that. If when that part is all cleared up, then it is always programmed to change itself with the times and what the user wants, and it would eventually state what more does it want. You have got so millions of news services around, but the fact remains the same that Google can only give you certain information, but it will never be considered as a source of knowledge.
A very good point that you have raised, that basically we are getting confused between knowledge and information.
Yes.
Uh, I attended a seminar on that.
Hmm.
People are misconstruing information as knowledge. So, firstly, they'll have to learn to distinguish between what constitutes information, what constitutes knowledge. I would like to cite an example. You know that I work a lot on the spiritual aspects of spirituality.
I know.
So I had to write something on enlightenment for which I needed certain references. So as usual, the Google came to my rescue. I typed the word enlightenment, and I was shocked to find that there were more than 640,000 articles on enlightenment, and there were many articles which were completely contrary to one another.
Did you go to the second page of Google search?
I flipped through many pages because I wanted to see, but there were many useless materials.
Yeah, the
Because
searches gets to go like they become more obsolete and useless as you progress through the Google pages.
basically, what happened that the way media is spreading, social media is spreading its tentacles in the same quality. The quality of knowledge is not spreading. The quality of knowledge is not increasing. I would say that the serious knowledge seekers, they are not spending time on social media. Everybody is having the free internet, free Wi-Fi, and so whatever comes to their mind, they just like to post it on social media platform in order to become noticeable.
Hmm.
So that is the reason that there's a lot of junk on this social media. So you type any topic, even if the serious topics, if you want to search, you will find many things which are frivolous in nature. Basically, the purpose of our discussion, we know all about the positive aspects. So those who would be listening to this discussion, they should not construe it that we are only talking about the negative aspects. We are basically trying to dissect the ultimate message that the documentary Social Dilemma wants to
It's
convey.
actually more of a breakdown, if you see.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
we are taking each and every bit of them, and we are like
yes.
trying to elaborate it as so that the message gets across. That the documentary doesn't mean no harm, and it won't disillusion you. You can
Yeah.
carry on being a technocrat,
Uh,
a geek, and all.
Another thing, Arvind, is about being addicted. Addiction is very bad. Uh,
It is. It's
Now,
spoils both sides
many
actually.
countries are running de-addiction centers. If you are addicted to these
Rehab centers and all. Yes.
de-addiction centers are being run. It has also opened a source of revenue.
See, the one of the most common reasons is that take for example, I upload a photo of mine on Facebook, okay, and people are complimenting like, you're looking good, looking great. What's the place? There will always be that one person who will say like, "Oh my God, you're like your hair looks bad" or something. The thing is, some people are deeply affected by that one comment. Like,
True, very
what's
true.
the reason? Can you give us the reason for that? Like, you have so many supporters, and only that one person doesn't like you. He's just mocking you. So
Uh,
you are like trying to prove a point to him.
uh,
You'll upload more photos. You'll like be more active. You'll delete that photo and upload a new one. What's the purpose for that?
See, it's a part of human psychology uh, to seek acceptance. You know, people are seeking acceptance everywhere. That is a fundamental part of human psychology. And when you have got filtering, when you have got the beauty cameras, then it certainly gives a boost to your ego that you want to look good.
Hmm.
Even physically, so I don't believe in any be looking good or looking bad, but everybody wants to look like a star. Everybody wants to look their best whenever they are posting their pics on any social media platform. So that there is a general acceptance. But when a bad, toxic comment comes, then it hurts their ego. Then basically, when it hurts their ego, there have been many episodes when the people have fallen into the pit of depression because they were trolled by some people.
Yeah, there are so many cases. Like
Uh,
suppose my
and,
friends
and
do it, it doesn't affect me at
Yeah,
all.
and there have been many cases in which the youngsters having the impressionable minds, the impressionable. Even there have been many cases. I have seen it, read it, I have watched it in many news items that even they have gone to the extent of killing themselves. They have committed suicide
Yeah,
because
it's
they were
sad.
told by some people on the basis of their look. Recently, a daughter of a superstar from our own Bollywood, she posted a pic, and I was seeing the kind of comments that pic was getting, the ugliest, the worst. The one thing we started off our discussion on the ethical note, no ethical dimensions of
Yes.
this social media, social networking. Uh, so the ethical aspect is that it brings out sometimes what happens that through this mechanization, this machine, these platforms are certainly bringing out our worst. We are letting loose our own demons on people. Say you are getting only positive comment, positive comment, positive comment. Somebody breaks your this delusion.
Yeah.
Somebody chucks a stone, and then you feel anguished, you feel hurt. Then it turns into abuse,
Mm.
and everybody is not mature enough to handle the kind of abuse. So and instead of bringing out goodness or the good aspects of your personality, certainly some trigger comes, it triggers the worst outcome from us. So that's an area of concern because youngsters are hooked to it. So the youngsters, I mean, I would say the way the sex education has been made compulsory in our schools and colleges, I would say that the addiction and de-addiction part should also be made mandatorily, should be mandatorily taught in our schools. So the when the kids, the youngsters can have some idea about it, how to tackle this menace, because this is something that you can't do without it. You know,
Yes.
what has happened that kids are spending hours on online classes. You can't dissociate them from internet because they are the way we are talking on Zoom. They are spending 8 to 10 hours on Zoom, right?
Yes.
So you can't dissociate. At the same time, they need to be educated. They need to be sensitized about the positive and the negative outcome. They need to be given some sort of training so they can handle these trolls. Because when you are putting your photo out in the networks, you it's on a cyber space, so you are open to everything,
Hmm.
right?
Yes. So with that, Father, we're going to be concluding. We have had an
There are a few more aspects we can. I would like to know
yeah.
about this economy aspects of that. You know.
Yeah, apparently, like there's a certain threshold of time that we can contain so much
I
information on that.
uh,
I'd like
uh,
to like invite you to a second part. Are you
so,
willing?
I know, of course, I can go endlessly talking to you on that because we have merely tipped the iceberg. What time is left? What time is now? How many minutes are left?
We have around 7 minutes.
7 minutes, so probably we can extend it. So I would like you to throw some light on uh, economic aspects. See, a guy called Mark Zuckerberg thinking that he can create something on which people can post their events of their life, their pics. But how this entire thing has been monetized? Did you notice one expert speaking about this monetization aspects?
Actually, it didn't affect me at all, so I would like to know your views on that.
Okay, I mean, Armin, how do you see the future? What is something, because you are also very keenly interested in artificial intelligence? What is something that you would want to create?
A
In
utopian people where people of every kind of are accepted regardless of their views, and AI actually works for us, not against us, and people are wary of the effects, the harmful effects that AI can pose on social media, or a place where you are pulling up your views on and all that. There shouldn't be any hate. Okay, it would be such a utopian world in that case.
this utopian world is turning out to be a dystopian world.
Yeah, all that is sand kind of stuff, people like acting like tribal people and all that, dystopia.
One point is also coming to my mind, that is everyone's favorite game, which has now gone off the hook, is called PUBG. I mean, probably you also spend a few hours playing PUBG, and you have told me that a lot of even the oldies, people of my age, even the people in their 60s, even they were addicted to playing PUBG.
Yeah.
So, what was so specific about this game called PUBG?
See, it
And what
wasn't about any gameplay of that game, okay? It was about joining up with your friends and playing and just having fun, okay? See, the point of games are that it actually provides us some relaxation time, okay? We tend to forget about like we have these assignments and all of that, those stuff. We can just chill, and we can like talk to friends. We can abuse them of how poor they're playing. It's kind of fun, like messing with messing with each other. So that is why PUBG became so popular. It was a mobile game which had free voice chatting, okay? You can chat with your friends all day long. You can play as much as you want. So that is why like me and my friends, Tejas
see,
and his
you know
friends.
that I'm not fond of playing computer game. I haven't played any game on computer in my life because I feel it is sheer wastage of time.
You did play Need for Speed with me for some time.
I played with you because when you were a small kid,
Yeah,
I played certain games to give you company.
yeah.
But there must have been something special about it because one day, in fact, I was planning to write something on PUBG. That what is so special about it that
It's
makes
about it eventually becomes about bragging rights, okay? If you're a group of friends or if you're a solo person, you'll try to prove yourself that you're a better player. It actually became about that. Then there are these tournaments which are actually giving out free prizes. You can get some perks in that games, those costumes and all for your
and
characters and
and,
all. So
and you would laugh at my naivete that I was so naive enough to presume that after winning one round you'll be served some chicken dinner.
chicken. Oh, okay. That's gonna pull in some viewers. It's going to put some butts in the seats. Thanks for mentioning that. Okay.
Probably we have covered the topic
Yes.
in many aspects.
Yes.
It has got huge ramifications. It's a big topic,
Yes.
and it went off well. Thank you, Arvind, for giving me this opportunity to discuss some of my views on these areas, which continue to affect us in a positive as well as slightly negative way, but I would say that in a
It
positive
was
way.
my honor, Father, to have you as my first guest on my
And
podcast. So thanks.
I would expect that I will be invited again. I,
I'm gonna be actually be inviting you for the second episode because, as you said, we are only have been breaking the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that we can discuss
and,
regarding AI and
yeah,
the social
see,
dilemma.
this is the generic discussion.
Yeah.
We started off well.
Yeah.
From second session onwards, we would be focusing on a particular part of this entire network.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay, Father. So thanks for joining. We'll be soon coming up with our second episode.
Thanks a
Thanks for
lot to
watching
you.
us.
It's always great having conversation with you,
Okay.
offline, online, anyway.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. Yes.